How's it going, everybody? Rob here, back with another video. And, well, we are doing another show review on top of some of the other stuff we're doing. This time around, I'm talking about one that I should have talked about already, have not, kind of avoided it, but I think it is time to do it. And apparently there's also going to be Season 2. I'm not looking forward to that. So, anyway, The Last of Us. Season 1. For those who don't know, I'm a big fan of the first game, and I'm gonna end it there because I'm very iffy about the second game, but all in all, I enjoy the premise, I enjoy the story, enjoy the characters of the first game. Notice how I'm only talking about the first game because the first game is better. Actually, if anything, in terms of my personal opinion, in terms of the writing for part 2, fuck you, Neil Druckmann. But anyways, going past that little bit of frustration, we are going to talk about again this season, and this will be interesting. This episode was directed by, or at least Season 1, Episode 1, was directed by Craig Mazin, written by Neil Druckmann and Craig Mazin. It also stars Pedro Pascal, Bella Ramsey, and Nico Parker, to name a few. As you guys know, at least for the start of, for those who've ever played the first part of the game, it kind of starts off where from the beginning of the game to when the characters find out that, by the way, spoilers for who've not watched the show or the series itself. It starts from where the game begins to when they find out that Ellie is infected with cordyceps. And when this first came out, I was kind of wondering how they're going to do this first show. And one thing they really did, at least for the first episode, was they added a little bit more detail. This episode is also an hour and 20 minutes long, so there is a lot to watch. I guess one of the things I do appreciate a little bit is the beginning of the episode where you have the scientists on a talk show, and they're discussing what could possibly be the killer of humanity. One guy's saying it's viruses or bacteria, but another scientist, who I can only remember him as the brother from The Mummy, the British brother of the main female lead, he talks about how fungus is going to be the ultimate killer. And even though it sounds ridiculous, he gives his points, which, to discussing, hey, at this point, it's harmless to humans. But what if, by chance, the planet started to warm up? Fungus, like cordyceps, would have to, evolve. And at that point, jump to another food source. Or would have the capability to jumping to another food source, which again was very interesting to watch. We get a little bit of Sarah and Joel's lives before the outbreak, where you see Sarah basically going about her day, spending a lot of time. I would say, for the first part, spending a lot of time with Sarah, where you see her going to school, meeting up with this Christian family, taking care of their mother, who is infected by the cordyceps. That's another thing, too. That was kind of a change from the game. Whereas, Joe takes off to see Tommy. And for the game itself, you have Sarah basically walking through the house, and hearing like secondhand from like the news, whatever, that there was something serious going on. And then eventually somebody breaking into the house, or at least, no, sorry, Joel coming back, somebody breaking into the house that's infected, and Joel having to put them down. For the show, the Christian family, or at least the very religious family that they interact with, the elderly mother who is in a wheelchair, is infected, and it shows like a little bit of her her progression of getting infected. And one thing they did that was really interesting, like when it comes to people who are infected, the cord strips are basically kind of hanging. It's almost like vines, or like like little threads that are hanging out of their mouth. So when they get bit, some of the quadriceps actually latch on to the victim. So I thought that was kind of interesting for a change for what they did with the infected. We have the initial scene of them trying to get out of town, and I'm gonna say this: in the moment where they lose, Joel loses Sarah, which I'm gonna say is probably one of the with this game having a lot of heartbreak, and the Sarah scene being one of the biggest ones. This is, it hits hard. It still hits hard this time around, or at least I want to say either more or to the same extent for how much emotion they put into what happened. We see a little bit after, like 20 years later, or 20 years later, and we see our characters, Tess, Joel, doing their jobs. We see what they do with people who are infected, basically, or anybody who, I'm assuming, either executed or anybody who is infected. Because you see Joel, they have this like fire pit, and any of the corpses they basically throw into the pit and destroy the ashes. So it was interesting to watch. And like I said, this episode goes from the beginning to when they initially find out Ellie was infected. All in all, very good start for the show. I got what I kind of expected and more. And honestly, I'm looking forward to what's going to happen next. Another thing I want to bring up too is initially, like when Marlene and the Fireflies find out that Ellie was infected, I love that they go through this whole procedure. Like, you see a little bit of Ellie. Actually, she calls herself Veronica, like kind of to throw them off. And they chain her up after finding out she was bit, and basically have her there for an extended time, waiting to see if she turns. So, all in all, it was really cool. This episode was, it was fun to watch. It has its emotions, or it has its moments. Deals emotions. Honestly, at this point, it kind of makes me wonder where Druckmann was with part 2 of A Last of Us, if he is part of the writing, or actually no, not where he was. What the hell was he thinking? That's probably the better way to put it. So, yeah. You know what? I think with this episode, I am going to give it a 10 out of 10. No, I don't want to sound like... I know it sounds like I'm overselling it, but no, fuck it. I can't... For the life of me, I can't think of anything negative about it. I really liked this episode. This one was probably... a lot of, I mean, I'm sure it will probably get better as time progresses, but like I said, I can't think of something bad to say. And actually, if anything, the only thing I can, it's a nitpick, is where Neil Druckmann was. If he's supposed to be a writer, where was he for part 2? When the writing in this is so much better than what he gave us for the second video game for The Last of Us. I know, I'm on a tangent, but it freaking bugs me. It really does. So, anyway, yeah, 10 out of 10. I'm pleased with this episode. I'm looking forward to watching more as time progresses. But for now, though, I am going to go ahead and end this video. So to everybody, thank you guys so much for watching. Truly appreciate it. If you guys can, please like, comment, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. If you guys will follow us on social media, links are in the description down below, as well as check out our daily content and the weekly podcast. With that being said, this is Rob Novakast signing off. Have a good one. Take care. And I will see you guys next video.